Hello, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket. Yes, I'm sticking with NichBoy. It has charm and exactly the right amount of syllables for my baby boy mouth. But today, I will be slinking through the trees with Ori and the Blind Forest. First though, the news! And a new record has been set for the longest ever competitive Dota 2 match. Pro teams Cloud9 and Scary Faces duelled in a Star Series qualifier match which lasted 3 hours and 20 minutes. During the unprecedented marathon, the game encountered a handful of strange bugs, including spontaneous combustion of some of the champions. Duration wasn't the only record broken, with a slew of most last hit and highest net worth records for individual champions. Ultimately though, it was Scary Faces who walked away victorious.
Back into the fight, they're gonna go for the tier 4s, they're on the H's, there isn't any fortification, it's gonna be GG, SFC, they'll win the game, oh my god.
Okay, to the forest! Ori and the Blind Forest was announced at E3 last year and came out recently. It's actually the first game from developer Moon Studios, which is a unique collaboration of developers from all over the world, including right here in Australia. They kind of just put the game together, sort of scattered all around, which is amazing considering how this thing turned out. So I can't stop playing it. Let's dive right in. So the first thing obviously you notice about this game is it is stunning. This game is beautiful. If this game was a woman, I would not talk to her because she's out of my league. If this game was a guy, his name would be Chad and he'd play water polo. But it's not just about how it looks, it's about how it sounds. The score is beautiful. The sound effects, it all ties together. It has this really natural, earthy sort of feel and it just really works. But this game is not just about being so sexy. This game is about insanely tight platforming and really hard levels. This game is hard. Obviously with these kinds of games, it's all about the controls, right? And I love platformers. I've been hooked on platformers since I first played Alex Kidd, which was installed on my Sega Master System. That was the first game I ever played. And this game just completely nails that. Everything about Ori feels like it should. The controls feel like you want them to feel. She jumps just as far as you want her to jump. When she lands, she stops. There's this feeling that I never really got overwhelmed with it. There's a lot of different ways that you can interact with the environment. There's jumps, you can sort of float, you can bounce off things, you can bash things and that moves you around and stuff. But I was never sort of in a situation where I was kind of going, oh god, how do I do this? Everything just kind of flowed naturally from my fingers. It's got that sort of Super Meat Boy style control with a sort of Metroidvania map design. You just go back through the map and you start unlocking things as you get more power. So you're going back over the same places, but they're becoming completely different to you because you've been unlocking new things. And it's just, it really rewards exploration and it just works so well. I will say though, the map itself is very clear, but sometimes it's not entirely clear where you're supposed to be going. I never got to the point where I sort of threw my controller away in frustration, but there were some times where I was kind of like, I don't quite know what the game wants me to be doing here. There's also no fast travel, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think that I like it. I think that fast travel would probably break the game, and that the idea of going through the same places all the time and unlocking new areas in it is part of that, and you probably don't experience that if you can just zip around the map. But it did make it a little frustrating when you realize you've forgotten something and it's on the other side of the map and you have to sort of travel all through the Blind Forest to actually get to it. The enemies themselves can be a bit like frustrating to you, but they're not really the enemy. You're really competing against the forest itself and the platforming. And thank God the controls are as tight as they are, because there is some seriously intricate work going on here. It's made harder by the save system in a really good way. The save system works by you use the energy that you would use for powers and abilities, and you can choose to throw down a checkpoint, because there's no checkpoints in the game. So it's a really nice risk reward system that that I haven't really seen that much, and I think it works really well here. It does also mean that sometimes you can back yourself into a corner by saving somewhere and then realizing you need to go back down through the hellish, thorny, laser, magnety area you've just been in to get something on the other side of the map, and you should not have saved there. That was a giant mistake, Nick. Why did you do that? The other thing that's really great about the game is the story. It's a simple story, and we've sort of seen versions of this told before, but the opening 5 minutes, it's like Up, it's like Pixar's Up. It just gets you at the beginning. It is emotionally brutal. There's a voiceover as well, which the game could probably do without, because it does such a good job communicating everything visually, and it's so good with the animations that I feel like the voiceover just becomes a bit redundant, and honestly, like, it's kind of cliched. But I'm really invested in little Ori, and I really want her to get out of the forest alive, and I'm really upset that I've killed her 515 times so far, so I really want to see how the story ends. Oh my god, why are you so hard? You're supposed to be blind, Forest, why can you see me? Well, that's it for today's episode. If you've been playing Ori, let us know what you think. Also, if you have any suggestions for a better gamer tag for me, NichBoy is listening. But until then, NichBoy is out!